Yo, 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 what's going on? It's your boy Kem. Are you interested in becoming a sponsor for the Fly Young Intellectual podcast? Would you like us to advertise your business on this platform? If interested, email us at info@flyyoungintellectual.com. That's info@flyyoungintellectual.com. We're waiting to hear from you. Peace. I'm an intellectual. I'm an intellectual. I'm an intellectual. What's going on, people? It's your boy Kem. Welcome back to the Fly Young Intellectual podcast. Happy New Year. First episode of the year. Thank you all so much for joining us. Intellectuals, assemble, assemble, assemble. We are back. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Cool topics, intellectual vibes, flying intellectual guests. It's a vibe. And we're going to do it bigger and better than ever. I have a very, 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 very special guest with me today. We go pretty far back. This guy is like one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. He is a world-renowned musician, drummer. He's played for the likes of Usher, Backstreet Boys. I think Backstreet Boys was his first major gig, which we have to discuss that because like how do you even do that? Oh, Kerry Hilson, Diddy, and if you want to go, he started in church, so gospel side of things. Byron Cage, the homie Gerald Scott. Shout out to Gerald. He's a producer. He is a designer, owner of the brand Kairos. We'll get into that as well. And last but not least, he's a dad. He's a phenomenal dad of two beautiful young ladies. And he does everything for them and for the legacy of his last name. If you don't know who I'm talking about yet, this guy's name is Jamal Moore. Let's give him a round of applause. Welcome, my boy. Welcome, brother. Welcome, 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 welcome. Yes, yes. Nah.
I
Thanks for.
finally made it to the podcast.
Ah,
I'm cool.
here we,
I'm cool enough to be on a fly young
here we,
intellectual podcast.
here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's all good. It's all good. This guy, man. Thanks again for joining, bro. I love you for a lot of different reasons. We go back. Obviously, I don't remember exactly when we met, but obviously I lived in DC. Used to be
It
around.
might have been like 2000. I don't want to. It might have been like 2009.
Yeah, 9, 10. Yeah, around there. I moved to Maryland from the Virgin Islands in 2009. And then I didn't really start getting around that circle till like maybe 2010 when I started getting more acclimated. And I used to go to a lot of the gigs. I think like the first joint I went to, like the first major concert I probably went to was like Amos. Amos had the CD release at somewhere in PG, and he had Micah Smith opening up for him. Micah
That
had like,
sound about
yeah, Micah had that band that slept, and I'm just this like kid from the islands, and I'm like, what is going on? This is like phenomenal music, at the highest level at like a little church, and I think like a lot of the homies were there, and I just kept coming around, and niggas like embraced me, and we had some good times, man. You know what I'm saying, like. Yeah, give me,
you gave
you know what I'm saying? Made me feel loved and appreciated, man. But talk about your upbringing, bro. Like, talk about just growing up in DC, how that affected you, how that like influenced who you are today.
um, I think my upbringing was pretty cool. It wasn't bad. Like I had a great upbringing. Of course, my parents and my church. They looked out for me a lot, man. Uh, My dad's church used to be in DC, like in the heart of DC, on Morton Street, like Georgia Avenue, Morton Street. So I have a lot of like friends that from DC uptown for what they were as uptown. And then I went to school uptown too. I went to Carroll. I went to Nativity, and I went to a few different Catholic schools uptown. So um, yeah, man. So like as far as like the village, my village was pretty strong, as far as like family and stuff like that. And then once I started to venture out into the music world, my village got stronger too. Started hanging with the likes of like the Earl Machetes, the Gideons, the Amos, all those guys. Kind of like that became my village. It became my family away from my family, and it became my school too. A lot of those guys just kind of took me in like not directly, but just kind of indirectly, and just made sure I was okay musically, and make sure I was okay as I was growing up. I think that a lot of people I'm not gonna say a lot of people, but a few people saw my potential and saw where I could, possibly go and grow to. So uh, they didn't mind dropping those nuggets. The other people that didn't, so they was just being weird. They was just being, weird to me. So stuff like that.
Nah, I feel you. I feel you. How, like you say, your village was strong. Obviously, growing up in the church, being a PK and all of that, PK kind of has that negative connotation to it a lot of times. Like, being locked up, being not allowed to express yourself, being not allowed to like go out into the world and like, be yourself. How do you feel that was different for you? Because you seem like your parents were like always supportive.
My dad told me straight up. He said, that was on his life, being a pastor and stuff like that. So because of that, uh, of course, we had to move a little bit differently, but at the same time, he didn't want us to feel obligated to act a certain type of way, or to live in this this box that they try to put us in, um, because of what he decided. Like, if Jamal, you want to go play drums and go do these things, and Josh, if you want to go play football, like, yeah, I can do that. You don't have to necessarily like be a deacon or elder or apostle in church and stuff like that. So uh, they were very, very 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 open to us, like figuring out what we want to do in life, and that comes with like experimental stuff, like like, okay, I'm gonna go on the road now. Like, wow, you gonna go on the road? You gonna go on the road with secular artists? Your dad's a pastor. Like, yeah. He signed off on that, and because of that, um of course, my church is like, they were always open to us just figuring out who we were. I think it was I think
Yeah,
honestly sometimes, and I'm not, and I'll probably be controversial. Some of it is church, of course. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is a standard that we should live by. Somebody should look
yeah,
at our lives and be like, yo, like, how are you this blessed, or how are you have this favor? And we should be able, ministry is like, I think ministry is less talking and more so like living. You know what I'm saying? Your life should be an example. So that's real ministry to me.
yeah.
And I think that's in and outside of church. But to go back to your question, I don't think it was all church. I think it was also like people who weren't really into church, or that are not into church, that have like this imaginary code that you're supposed to live by, and they like, oh, you're a PK and you hanging with me and you doing this, like, they kind of
They judge you.
become
Imagine.
judgmental.
Yeah,
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 they judge me, and I'm like, bro, like, just because I'm not PK and I do this and I do that and I pay my tithes and all that don't mean I can't go bowling. Come on, bro. That's like, who said we can't have fun? Who can't say I can't go get the tag? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't go park, like, I can't go to movies. Or better yet, I can't go. I'm gonna be honest. I can't go to a lounge. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because I'm in a lounge doesn't necessarily mean I'm like over here getting super intoxicated and drinking and wild. Like, I might just want to be like, nowadays we got these social lounges where um it's not even about like drugs or anything like that. It's about like meeting people that are in the same field as you, or like they have the same mindset as you. So it's just like a closed minded mentality, if you ask me. Like, in and out of church, you know what I'm saying? But we don't really gotta fall into it, because if we fell in, I feel like we should go live on Instagram or something like that, because I would love to have a conversation with a few
yeah.
people, because a
That's an
lot of people.
important conversation for sure. Because yeah, a lot of people just feel like it has to be this one-dimensional thing, and it's just like a bunch of imperfect people that's trying to like live a certain way, and that doesn't make you, more inferior or superior to anybody else. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel you on that. So after you growing up, you're going through high school. When do you really kind of like pick up the sticks? You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
When
oh man, I started. Well, of course, I started playing in church, and my dad, you know, I told him I wanted to play and whatnot. And he saw that everyone could see like my gift and stuff like that. So once they went through one transition of like not having a drummer, they just allowed me to play and grow. And It was around I want to say like 12 or 13 when I started to realize like, oh, drums are like this is a cool thing. I want to do this. I want to play drums, and I started to meet other people in the city, like other drummers and other musicians, and I started playing
Yep.
around town, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. This is so cool, and like I could possibly make money from this. Like, of course, I hadn't thought about career or anything like that, but I was just thinking like, make some money to get some sneakers and little things like that. So that was around 12 or 13, and then. Um,
Hmm.
that kind of like grew into its own thing. And then it was around 16, 17 when I started to see like, oh, this could be my life.
Yeah.
Because I started to meet other people that were like touring and they were like recording and stuff like that. And that's all they did. That was like, livelihood. So around
Yeah.
that, between that 12 and like 16 mark, that's when I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I'm going to be a musician,
Sneakers.
bro. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Little
I'm going to get
things,
into
right?
and I wasn't thinking about production or I wasn't thinking about any of that stuff yet. I was just thinking about strictly playing drums. Like let me play drums, that'd be cool. So yeah, around that age, that's when I
And
started going
you.
crazy.
So I think we said it in the beginning. Your first major on the road situation is Backstreet Boys, and that's at like what, 19?
Yo, all right. So I'm gonna before we even do that, I'm gonna give Byron credit. Like so, before I really went on like a crazy tour.
And this is Byron Cage we're talking about.
Byron Cage. I think I was 17 and 18. This is around the time where he had dropped Presence of the Lord, and he was about to drop Bless the Lord, and then he was about to drop something like it, and if anybody can remember that time, like Byron was huge because he had that Presence of the Lord record was huge because they had that Kirk Carr, like him and Kirk Carr worked on that record, and it
Yeah.
just yeah, it just went crazy. So, yo, I think I started playing with Byron. Like I started playing his gig. I think on my 18th birthday. I remember Ken Friend. He's from Virginia. Shout out to Ken Friend. He called me and he was like, "Yo, remember I told you I was gonna have a gig for you?" Because at this point I was like playing with Howard Gospel
Shout out
Choir and stuff
Howard.
like
Okay.
that, and playing with Howard and like Jamal. I was playing around town or whatever, and he seen me play a few times, and he was like, "Yo, I might have a gig for you, son." I'm like, "Cool." So me not thinking anything of it. He called me. This was my first year in college, and he was like, "Yo, you want to play with Byron Cage?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." Like I didn't know like what was going on at that moment. I was so like green for lack of better words. I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "Yo, you gotta come audition." I'm like, okay, cool. He's like, but he's like, I'm sure like it'll be cool. I'm sure Byron will love you. You know what I'm saying? We got to audition a few other people. So we'll see how it plays out. And I'm like, cool. So I went audition, and funny story, it's the craziest story in the world. I'm in the church. I'm at Ebenezer AME, and I'm dropping all. Yo, I feel like we should have I'm representing Drink
Yeah.
Champs.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like when I drop
Any
a church
name,
name, when I drop
you
a
got to put
pastor
a
name, when I drop
counter up.
an R&B artist name, just put
This this
corner.
is this is
Counter,
like the
count
Kanye
me
drink
every
champs.
time.
Like this is gonna be a super name drop. This is gonna be very name
Yo,
heavy. Yeah.
count me, count me. I'm not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep dropping everything, and I wish somebody would say something like. But anyway, for real, that's my energy now. I'm old enough now. Like I don't have time to play with people. Um, it's not even that energy. I just think that this is a part of like my story. Everybody has a story, and it's a part of my story. And I don't think that in my story, and I'm gonna go back to your question, but I don't think in my story I'm ever trying to offend nobody or make anybody. You know what I'm saying? I think that
It's your truth though. You know what I'm saying? It's your truth, and like, you know what I'm saying, it's history.
yeah, it's history, and
It's history.
I feel like people should know a little bit about the history of it. Well,
I'm here
it's
for it.
crazy. Clap.
I was here for it. I was
All right,
here
so
for it.
anyway, go back to the story. So we at Ebenezer. So it's me, Byron. No. Before Byron get there, it's Ken, Daryl, and myself, and we playing "Bless the Lord." And I hadn't really played that song because I had never, even though that's like I'm not gonna say a DC song, but even though the writers from DC, Isaiah Thomas, my even though the writers from DC,
Another name
I
drop.
never had another name drop counted, but which I started working with him later on and play records, but I had never played that song before, so like I didn't know like the arrangement or anything like that. So we ended just jamming, like having a good time. We ended up falling into the song, and so Byron walks down the aisle, and so Ken looked at me like, "Yo, Byron just walked in." I'm like, Okay, cool. Like I'm still gonna have a good time. So we having a good time. He like, yo, play, just play, man, just play. So we playing, having a good time. So Byron come. This is the honest God truth, and we kind of talk about it now. Byron came and like sat on the front row. I think it was the front row, and he just laid down like this, like laid on a pew,
Like
and
a
so
Rick Rubin
like
feel.
he's on that couch. So Ken busts out laughing. He like, yo, Byron crazy, Byron crazy. So anyway, Byron he walked up to the pulpit, he walked to the band pit, and so he stopped us. He was like, "Nice to meet you, young man." I was like, "Nice to meet you too." He was like, "Ken, so y'all never rehearsed before? Y'all just playing, right?" He was like, "Yeah, we just playing, man. We just got here, like we just having a good time, whatever." Da da da. He was like, interesting. He walked up the side of the stairs and like I walked in his office. And so like once he did that, we played for like maybe a couple minutes. Ken looked at me, he was like, he loves you. Yo, we about to go. I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, he ain't say nothing to me. He's like, bro, he loves you. That's how B is. Like B not going I think that he like, yo, B not gonna give you too much. He wanna make sure like, you know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you he love you. I'm like, cool. So called me. Um, he called me, bro, and I think it was on my 18th birthday, and my first gig was in like Carolina. And honestly, bro, from that point, I think it was just kind of like it just took off, bro, and it took off fast. And because from the Byron, like we were traveling, because Byron was, and I gotta tell this story because one, I'm giving my honor to what honors due, but then also like I can just tell you like one thing literally can just catapult your career into like something else, and like it can just go crazy. So anyway, make a long story short, because Byron was doing all like working and he was going crazy. Like I think we were out like 3 or 4 times a week, bro. And I had just got to college, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And so we just having a good time and just working. And he ended up doing the Stella Awards and stuff like that. So from there, I just started to get different looks, and I started to get different looks from people. From I started to get different looks, man, from just different MDs and stuff like that, and like the guys that I admire as far as drummers, they started to be like, "Yo, man, like who's this kid that's playing with Byron? He's really good," So, um, Stellar Wars, and then from that, my dad asked me straight up. He said, "Yo, you wasting a lot of money." He's like, "You making a lot of money, but you wasting a lot of money because you're enrolled in school, but you're not going to school." He's like, "I think you should make a decision," and I was like, I hate to say, I hate to let, and this is like, I don't know if any kids gonna watch this, watch the story, whatever. But I had to make a really hard decision, and my decision was to not finish school at that moment. Not because I don't value education. I do value education. I do want to educate. I think I learn something every day. But at that very moment, because the way my life was kind of turning, I wanted to basically take advantage of. It just made sense at that very moment because it wasn't just like possible opportunities.
I had to do it. That I don't mean to stop you, but like, yo, that's a gem. You gotta. A
Yeah,
lot
you
of
gotta make
times
a
there's
decision.
gonna be crossroads. You gotta make it. It happened with me too because like when I moved to, not to cut you out, when I moved to Maryland, I went to school. I moved to school. My mom sent me to school, and when I started gigging and like taking it really seriously because being in the Virgin Islands, I didn't want to be a professional musician because it was such a small scale. I couldn't see
Gotcha.
I couldn't see myself being a professional musician. The professional musician in my neighborhood, yeah, he looked cool with doing this and he was on gigs, but he didn't look like he was living a good life. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to do this. I
Mm,
wanted to be an engineer, and then but I had this gift. You know what I'm saying? I had this gift that I had harvested and was working on. And then when I got to Maryland, like it was a whole other like, oh God, like I'm looking at these killers, y'all, all of y'all, Daryl, all of y'all, and I'm like, man, I just wanna like learn as much as I can. And then I dropped out of school because at that point like I'm getting more opportunities. I'm gigging. I was living in North Maryland. I would take the train down to South Maryland, crash by the homies for the gigs, and then sometimes I wouldn't be yeah on the
jeez.
train. Then sometimes I wouldn't even be able to get back for class Monday, so I done miss one day. You might be like, damn, I done missed Monday. Let me see if I got anything Tuesday. By the time you recognize it, you missed 2 3 days of school, and I quit, and I didn't tell my parents. You know what I'm saying? I didn't tell because
Wow.
I knew
You
how.
didn't tell him?
Not at
You
first.
bugging.
Nah, but you gotta. It's just I knew my parents. I knew how disappointed they were gonna be. because that's all they knew. They were like, "Yo, you're going to school." So it took me a year before I told my mom, like, yeah, like I was lying, like, "Yo, mom, I'm still in school." Like,
Not the
yo,
wow, yo, you was
I
lying.
mean, yo, that's my mom. That's all she wanted me to do, go to school, and she wasn't understanding this music thing. So for me, I
Okay.
had to make that crossroad decision, and I haven't regretted it. You know what I'm saying? Looking back, it was the right decision because I had more potential and actual opportunity where I was, what I was doing. But
There you go. That's exactly what I was going. Like
yeah,
you had actual opportunity. Like a lot of people. I'm gonna give you like I don't have that effects, but I'm gonna give you. But you said it like actual opportunity. That might not actually be what you're called to do at that very moment. I believe I'm a stickler into like following your calling and making sure like you're being called in that direction. So you have actual opportunity and actual opportunity. Will lead to other things. But a lot of people like make sometimes people make this. I'm not gonna say a lot of people. Sometimes people make decisions on hopeful opportunity, I believe in faith, and I believe in allowing allowing your faith to be stretched and stuff like that. But I also believe in like being smart and being wise. The Bible talks about wisdom. You know what I'm saying? He says, "Ask for it; He'll give it to you freely." You know what I'm saying? So we just got to ask for it. So yeah, I mean, like you said, you had actual opportunity, and um, I had actual opportunity not to just go work for somebody, but also make some money. Like I was making money, and I was able to, pay bills. I was able to take care of myself, and then that year, um, I think that year too. That's when Janaya, that's my firstborn. That's when she was conceived, and so like it was like oh man, like I gotta really hit the ground running. You know what I'm saying? So yo,
grind time
yo, it
got
got really,
serious,
really
even because it's
serious.
not
It got
about
really,
you
really
now.
serious for me. So it was just important that, like I'm thankful for Byron. So that was my to answer your initial question, that was my first like real understanding of how the road works. Because you understand, like, yo, if I'm late, I'm gonna miss my flight. If I miss my flight, I might not get
Right.
paid. And you know what I'm saying? Like it's just a whole thing. So like those principles started.
Money getting taken out of your check for the next flight.
Yes,
Yep.
bro. Those principles start to like be downloaded in my brain and in my heart. So like it prepared me. So when I did get the call, and shout out to Andre and shout out to Speezy. And I could talk about Andre later, but Andre was the MD for Backstreet Boys at that moment. He called Speezy. I'm calling Aaron Spears Speezy. That's so he called Speezy to play, and then Speezy had to end up leaving because he had another run, and Andre had been seeing me play the other stuff around town and with Byron and stuff like that in the Stellar Wars, and he was like, "Yo, you think Jamal would be down to do it?" And it was just like that. And Andre's been super pivotal in my life when it comes to those things because he was also the one that called me for Daltrey, the rock thing I did. So like anytime I had to, I'm not gonna say anytime, but like he's been one of those MDs that were kind of like that kind of looked at me and was like, "Yo, I see so much on your life. You know what I'm saying? So much on your life, and like you play so well." And he's just like, he just trusted me, and so he didn't mind put me in different situations where I had to be not Church Mall
Yeah.
or Byron Cage Mall, or you know what I'm saying. Or he put me in a situation where I had to be Pop Rock Jamal, or I had to be Pop Jamal, who had never really played pop before, but has the facility and a character to take criticism. Also has the facility to make the adjustment on the fly. You know what I'm saying? So many different things. So he trusted me. So that was like, so shout out to those people as well for being pivotal in my life at that very moment.
We need those people to see it. I'm saying 'cause that's super important. Um,
For sure,
and just another thing about you, like your work ethic is insane. I always
for
told
sure,
you that's one thing I think I took from you, like directly too. Like no matter how good somebody told you you were, and no matter how many gigs you had or whatever, like if you want to find Jamal on most days, he's practicing, 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 and it's like niggas who are like less talented than
for
you
sure,
don't practice as much. Like
absolutely,
what
absolutely.
are you practicing towards? And it's just like, yo, it's just I'm just keeping the sword sharp. You know what I'm saying? You just that's just how you roll.
One
You
of
know
my
what I'm saying?
practices,
And
I used to get handed.
Yeah.
I used to get my behind handed to
Yeah,
me.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna cuss because I hope that people tune in, but
No, your
I
ass.
really,
No, it's fine.
I would love to
It's
say
my
I used to get
podcast.
my
Yeah,
edge
yeah,
double.
you're fine.
Yo, I used to get it
Yeah,
handed to me. My friends used to hand it to me, and I told people all the time, like, yo, I was the last person they would think about calling, like literally, like the last person, and I was okay with that. Like I would call, like I was calling the guys that they would call. I was calling like, yo, I want to hang. I want to feel like I want to just hang out with y'all or whatever. Da, da, da. And not so much to kind of like to take from what they got, but more so just kind of learn from them. You know what I'm saying? So I was the last person they
yeah,
would
yeah, yeah,
think about calling,
yeah,
and so like those principles I learned of like always sharp, like always practicing when nobody's around, or practicing when people are around. Like I got that because I wanted to be one of the best, bro. And I mean it
yeah,
wholeheartedly. I wanted to be the best, and I was attracted to like I was attracted to drums, bro. I was attracted. Oh, I not. I
yeah,
was. I'm attracted to the art of drumming, the craftsmanship of drumming. Like a lot of people, talk about the flams and the diddles and stuff I play and like the sticking and stuff like that. I'm really into the art of playing. Like so, outside of like the chops and outside of like grooving and stuff like that, I really took some time to kind of like develop my gift, bro. Like I had some people along the way that kind of helped me. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, even when I was in college, I had Richards. He made some. He used to tell me all the time, like, yo, your hands are uneven. I'm like, what you mean? He's like, yo, you right-handed, and I can tell off the rip you right-handed. And I'm like, wow, okay. So it just made me work strong on my
yeah.
left
You're
hand.
leading more.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
like everybody, like they ask now, they be like, yo, you play so much stuff with your left hand, and I was like, and I tell them like, yo, straight up, I my I worked on that. I literally worked on that. Like I had my instructor in college literally go through my mechanics to be like, yo, you like make sure your hands is doing this, make sure your hands is doing that. And of course, you put your own spin on it. But yeah, all right, that's enough about like what else you want. Like, let's go crazy. Let's get controversy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
What you got for me?
Yeah, yeah, you're. I got it. I have to give the people the
All
background
right,
of who
cool.
we talking to. Ali, right? There's
I'm
like
with that.
corporate.
I'm with that.
Yeah,
We can yo.
he got two
I'm,
sides of the podcast. You know what I'm saying? Probably gonna take a break right here momentarily, pay some bills.
I'm
This is the once again, welcome to the Flying Intellectual Podcast. We have Jamal Moore, world-renowned drummer, brand owner, designer, just
for sure.
producer. You know what I'm saying? I'm just a good guy all around. Outside of all the hats he wears. And the name of this podcast,
Hey,
if you don't know, is the Virgil Effect. Rest in peace to Virgil Abloh,
yes,
one of
sir.
our heroes over here at FYI, one of Jamal's
For
heroes,
sure.
and I wanted to like use him as the muse for today because I really kind of like equate you to like a Virgil. Why Virgil wears so many hats or wore so many hats? Um,
Yeah.
you know, it was almost asinine because it's like one day he's designing some shit for like Off White, another day he's like doing some architecture stuff because he had that architectural degree. Another day he's like DJing for like you
Yeah.
know you feel me like
Party.
and
Yeah.
and and
Yeah. Yep.
growing up, a lot of times we were told by the OGs, like, you know, jack of all trades, master of none. And and they kind of, they kind of put us in a place where it felt like you have to concentrate on one thing at a time. And now we live in an all inclusive world
Mm,
where it's like, nigga, if you don't do more than one thing, you might be extinct out here. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
yeah.
I think just you being obviously a world-renowned drummer, and we're not saying this lightly, like the world knows Jamal, but at the same time, not you could stay in that box. I'm pretty sure you could gig till you're 70 years old and be a legend, do these clinics and do these, just walk through and whatever. But you find ways to like evolve in different ways. You started, working on clothing and all of these things that I saw. Obviously you're a fly dude. You always were into fashion and shit. But like, let the people know, like, where does that itch to always do something different and push yourself come from?
Um, the itch to do something different. I'm to be honest, bro. That's just my heart. Like to be like, I don't really have like a, oh, you know what, this person doing this, so I'm gonna go over here and do this. Like I don't wake up thinking about what somebody else is doing. I know that it's like
Right.
that's unheard of in this world we live in because you got social media and all this other stuff, and we see it all. Yeah, but like I can honestly say, like the things that I have, I've had like total creation in, and even like some partial creation is like I just try to create from a pure place, and a pure place meaning like I'm not thinking about nobody else. Like subconsciously, indirectly, we are
Yeah.
influenced by our
Yeah.
surroundings,
Influenced by things. Yeah.
even like the
Hmm.
sound, yeah, by things, what I'm saying. But I try not to think about those things directly when if it subconsciously comes out, that's fine. But like, it's not like okay, though this person played 30-second notes, so now I'm gonna play 64 second. Like I'm not thinking about that. I'm just thinking like, yo, this feels good. But
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the desire to just kind of evolve, man, and just kind of be in different things is just my gifts. I just felt like I am gifted in a few different things. I am gifted. I think my main gift is the way I think. Period. Like I just think that's the main thing. So like it just comes out on the
Comes
drums.
out
It
in
comes out when
design.
it comes
Yeah.
to
Different ways. Hmm.
yeah, it just comes out in different ways. Like my brain is my and honestly, I think that if we really tap into who we are, um, it's really all of our brains. You know what I'm saying? Like that is what makes us differently.
What
If
did he
you
say?
ask me,
I ain't
that's what makes.
special. I just want it bad. Yeah.
Yo,
Yeah.
straight up, straight up. So, I just think I think about stuff different. I mean, my brain is just different, and I just apply it in all of the areas I can apply it in, and I try to just touch the things that I feel like I'm gifted in. Like you're not gonna see me trying to operate a camera, or nothing like that because I don't feel like
Right.
I'm
Right.
not a videographer. I'm just not
However,
that person.
however,
I
in your
will touch
mind,
clothes.
you
I will
might know
touch.
how you want to be shot. You might know like so it still come.
Oh,
So
for
you
sure,
might not
for sure,
physically have it,
for
but you
sure,
know what
for
it
sure,
looks like, which is a gift in itself. What it should look
for sure. That's the gift. Like I'm not gonna physically touch the video, but I'm gonna be like, yo, I think that we need to have this
like.
right
Of the
here, and I
treatment.
feel like we should have this right here, and I know how to. So I just try to take, yeah, I just try to take that and apply it. But the things I really touch are the things that I'm really passionate about, and that right now that's music and that's clothes. Of course, it's fatherhood. Of course, creative directing. And when I say creative directing, I mean like in the capacity of like uh, managing other people's like I have a few artists. How can I explain? I have a few artists that have hit me up and say, "Yo, bro, can you help me?" And I'm like, "Help you with what? Like you got your thing going?" They like, "Nah, like I know what I'm trying to do, but I want some creative help, or I want some creative ways to stay on task." You know what I'm saying? Like it's just kind of like so. And to some degree, I'm managing. Like I got my hands in a few artists that I manage. I'm managing a few artists, and I just want them to like be able to have their dreams come to pass,
Yeah.
just like mine have, and they still are. But
Yeah.
um,
No,
yeah,
that's
man,
how I
like
got into it too. I mean, literally, people would just act. They'll be like, every time I'm like on a music video shoot or something, like people are asking me questions or like they want to see it from my point of view and see what I'm seeing, and eventually I was like, oh, that's a gift. Like,
yeah, for
I
sure,
can influence people, and I know what's dope. You know what I'm saying? And I know how to structure things, and that's all those kind of things. Some
for sure. Yo said, "I know it's dope. I know that's right." Yo, like yo, I
I
know
know
it's
it's
dope.
dope. I know it's dope.
I know it's yeah. You know what, bro? I'm with that energy.
Yeah.
Like that whole energy of like, I mean, like nah,
Nah,
bro.
nah. I know it's dope. This is dope. This is not
Yeah,
dope.
you gotta have, and honestly, you gotta have that type of like confidence. I didn't mean to cut you off, but like you gotta have that type of conviction, confidence in, because like you can't convince me before we even get to, you can't convince me of something that you're trying to do if you don't wholeheartedly believe in it. And sometimes you gotta be the first one and the only one at a certain point to be like, yo, this is fire. This is absolutely fire. And it's not saying like, yo, like I'm super, like
Nah,
we not talking about arrogant.
nah. We're talking about confidence in
It's
your
literally
abilities and what God gave you. And that's straight up. Like that's how we should all be.
it says boast in it, bro. Boast in it. Yes, sir. I probably should have said boast in it, but yeah, y'all know
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. Y'all know what I'm trying to
Facts, facts,
say.
facts.
Y'all get the vibe.
Let's use that to segue the school of yay, right? So we're gonna talk about let's go to we're gonna talk about obviously I want to hear about Virgil and what he meant to you, what and all of that. But like, let me give the grand scheme of things.
The
Kanye
grand
West.
scheme of things is if Ye played drums, he would play drums like me. If Ye,
If Ye played drums,
he would play drums like
he
me.
he play drums like you.
Period.
I'm here for it. I think so too. I think Ye is one of them dudes.
Know
Like,
so. I know so. But this, like, okay, the school of Ye. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm just, I'm.
you got it. You got it. You got it. I'm not even mad, bro. Like, Kanye West,
Yeah,
very controversial figure in the world.
yeah.
A lot of people love him. A lot of people,
Hey,
I won't say hate, but dislike for whatever reason. Nobody is perfect. But for me, Kanye West is a staple of culture. Kanye West is the most influential black man of all time.
okay, Fly Young Intellectual Podcast. Listen, yo, y'all don't understand. This is funny
Yeah,
because
I mean,
you love to be like, Mo, you see
yeah,
Ye?
I be that
You
person to
know,
you sometimes, yes.
to be that person to me,
But at
right?
the same time, I've always loved Ye. But when I feel like he out of bounds, out of pocket, I'm not friends with him, so I can't hit him on the text.
For
So I
sure,
gotta hit
for
the next
sure,
closest man.
for sure.
I hit you on
But
the text.
when I'm
I
out of
hit you on the
pocket,
text
when I'm out of
because I know
pocket,
you personally.
you like, yo,
Just
you
like
good?
vice versa. You feel me?
Yo,
So
yo, you
little
good?
bro be hitting you like, yo, I'm not really feeling that. You know what I'm saying? And here's the reasons why. I don't know disrespectful shit. But for you, so
Yeah,
I
yeah. I'm like, yo, I seen that
great.
post, yo.
Everything
You
good?
good, yo? Like,
Okay. You're not
you
good.
not,
Let's talk about
you
it.
not,
Let's talk about it.
you not okay.
So but for the grand scheme of things, man, Kanye West is I can't see a world without Kanye West. I don't know what the world would look like without him because we do not
Okay,
have many people who will put themselves
for sure.
on the front lines every single day to try and keep knocking down doors to show people like, hey man, you could do it too. Come over here, or to keep creating and to keep doing things, and people be like, them wave runners are whack. Like I can't tell you how many times Ye has like put some shit out or like just previewed some shit, and niggas will be like, oh, them shits look terrible. That's it. And then when them shits drop, bruh, what was it? Is it the Wave Runners? The like,
It was the wave runners. It was the
bruh,
wave runners, bro.
people was
They went down on him for the
they
wave
went to
runners, bro.
town on it, and now that's like the airport shoe.
Absolutely. It's the airport shoe. It's the lounge shoe. It's the like. Yeah, I want the wave runners, real like you know what I'm saying. Like it's the re up shoe. Like, that shoe became it became like super common, and like like even that colorway, like the first colorway, like the gray, blue, and the with the shoestrings, like that was a thing. But like, of course, it just expounded. But yeah, bro, like mad people talk mad. Yo, I was sitting in front of somebody one day and they was going dumb on Ye. I mean, dumb,
Yeah,
and they had a
yeah.
shoe on, and I was like, yo, to some,
And they had his shoes on.
yo, it's you know what I'm saying, like what they're saying wasn't wrong. Like I wasn't even mad at them. What got weird to me was the fact that they'll do this like, yo, he's stupid, he's this and da 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 da, and I'm like, yo, to some degree, like I get why you're saying that because if you're directing it towards this comment or these actions, yes, that was stupid. But like, let's not put it all in one thing. Like, I am a believer in like, yeah, yo, like we not like you said,
Yeah,
we not perfect, but that should never take away from like you
that's what I'm
being gifted
saying.
or you being
So
special
let me
and
ask
great.
you that. How do you
So,
feel? Do you feel like you should separate the artist from the person? Like, you feel you should separate their work?
I don't think
Okay,
I don't think you
okay.
can.
That's actually
You can't. Like if
controversial. I didn't think you would have said that. I didn't think you said you
yeah,
can't separate. Wow.
I don't think you can. I don't think you can separate I feel like who you are as a person, like all these things build your artistry. Like you're like it's a conglomerate of it's a mixture of all of the things that you've experienced and all the things you haven't experienced. You know, and sometimes like let's just think about it, bro. Like yeah, I just don't think it's possible. I don't think it's like I can go on a rabbit hole. Like I just don't think it's possible. We Kanye, yourself, you know how like when people are really moving to real artistry, you don't necessarily get to turn off until you go to sleep. Period. Period. The end. Like you can be in your house and you can have your homies there. You still just kind of like I don't think you can just turn off the artistry thing. You know, I don't think it's just a separate way. Like, of course, it's probably healthy too, you know, but I just don't think it's possible, man. I think a
Yeah,
real
yeah, yeah.
creative are always like,
It's a
yeah,
lot of people. It's a burden. It's not a burden, but it's a heavy load that like to have to walk with that all the time, and you can't just put it down. You can't put it down when you feel
yeah,
like
for
it.
sure,
It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work
yeah,
that when you're tapping into
yeah.
it fully. You feel me? So Ye, so you have Kanye, and then you had some of these people who Kanye influenced, right?
Fun,
Like
Chicago, Chicago Don C,
Dancy,
Fun,
Virgil,
Virgil,
Jerry.
Gary,
I mean, literally, like all the savants, all the top guys for the most part, black top guy,
Jasper,
Tera-
Jasper. Don't forget
Teron
Jasper.
Preston.
Yeah,
Um, damn, I was trying to. We gonna keep thinking of the
it's
It's
a
a list.
list.
It's a
It's a
list,
list.
and these guys are affecting culture in a crazy way. How do you feel like the overall school of Ye? Do you feel like he gets enough credit for it? Even Virgil going to Louis, obviously, that was it hurt Ye because Ye was the Louis Vuitton Don, and nobody made LV hotter than Ye when he was really hot with them, and you know his student got the nod for I feel like it was a lot of different reasons. I feel like Virgil knew how to walk into that room. He might not. He might feel a way about something, but he's not gonna say like, yo, whatever that looks like. He's just gonna be like,
He not going
he's
to
not
yes.
gonna
He
yay
not
us.
going to be
He's not
yay.
gonna yay us. So he walked a little different. How do you feel? How do you feel that affected the school of Yay? How do you feel that impacted culture?
I mean, bro, there's gonna always be a person that changes something for like this gonna always be a ripple effect. Like, all right, this person thought about the world this way, and he got a few other people to think about this, or he connected himself with other people that thought about that way that didn't necessarily have the didn't have like the clout or the attention, like but he had it at that very moment. Like any of them could have been Ye. Virgil could have been Ye if he was, you know what I'm saying? Like like he could have. When I say Ye, he could have been in Ye's position or been the leader of that. If you know what I'm saying, like he could have been like if he was rapping and he was producing. Like I just feel like it happened for Ye, and it just so happened that he was connected to those guys at that very moment, and they would kind of all influence each other. I'm not gonna say Ye was the only one. Like I'm sure like Virgil was, like, nah, we should think about it like this, and because they all like you say, Virgil would mess around and be DJing, and you mess around, like Jasper would mess around and be cutting his hair, you know what I'm saying, and Don would mess around and be like probably looking at clothes and work, you know what I'm saying. So I feel like they all influence each
Yeah,
other. Um, yeah,
yeah,
I just
yeah,
think Ye was a leader at that very moment because of like what he was doing, like he was rapping and he was connected to Jay and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. He was the
yeah,
top of the world, and then he was different. So whatever he did influenced
yeah,
whatever. You know what I'm saying? He was
yeah.
that bold, and essentially Virgil had his own school too. You know what I'm
Sure,
saying? Because that's
sure.
where you have Tremaine Emery's of the world
Okay,
and them
okay.
boys.
Know
Right?
the history.
Yeah, yeah,
Know the history a
yeah,
little bit.
yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Hey,
You know,
you supposed to lead. You supposed to help the next, bro. You supposed to help the next crew. Like, and
that's it.
Virgil's crew
That's it.
might not. They might not all be designers. Some of them might be like DJs. Some of them might be like teachers. You just don't know. Like some of them might be like art. Art designers. You know what I'm saying? Like you just don't know. So I'm sure that like it's just a principle if you look at it.
Yeah,
If you, I mean, if you ask me, not like you look. If you ask me, it's just our principle that we're supposed to abide by. But like, yeah, man, like we all got our crew. Like I'm hoping my crew get. I want my crew to get it, and they supposed to fly. Like I'm so like you know what I'm saying. Like Gay walking in LV, he did LV first, and like because I don't even know why why he didn't do more LV after that,
Yeah.
but like because he did it first, or because they were connected, it was an easy play for Virgil. Like you know what I'm saying, and they gave him the status, and then they rolled the real red carpet out for him and let him do what he needed to do. So I don't see nothing wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? I don't see nothing wrong with it. As long um as we're growing, history is not lost. You know what I'm saying? I think it's very important that we give because I'm gonna give credit. Yeah, I'm gonna pay homage to like
Yeah.
I just went down the
Yeah.
story list like
Pay
naming
homage.
people,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just one side of it. Like I could have talked about when I was hanging with Buggy and my uncles was taking me to go see Buggy when I was 10 years old. You know what I'm saying? I could have talked about that. I could have talked about when I met JJ for the first time and JJ like when JJ set up my first drum set at my dad's church and I was only 8 years old. Like I just gave you one side of it, but like bro, I'm influenced by all these people and I'm paying homage to those people. I'm never gonna not pay homage. So I just think that as we're making more history shouldn't be lost. You get what I'm saying? So as long as they don't forget, like Gay said on the interview, he's like, I'm the leader, baby.
I'm the leader, right? I texted Lauren. I texted Lauren.
And we're not gonna make
Lauren
this
Hill.
about.
Yeah, I
We're not
texted
gonna
Lauren.
make this about. We're not gonna yay us on this joint. I want us to lose.
I'm the leader. I'm you one of the leaders. Nah, I'm the
Nah,
leader. You know what I'm saying? That's how you nah. That's how you should feel. But nah, it's influence and its impact, man. And as even when it came to Virgil, like, people feel like he passed, alone and all that. And I'm like, first of all, just knowing the guy from afar, all that mattered to him was the
yeah,
work. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't here for the flash, he wasn't here for the thrill of it. He just wanted to keep impacting the world. And the only way you really do that is through the
yeah,
work. And I can imagine that even Virgil on his last week, because I saw the tribute to him through his last show. Virgil was here, and just the amount of work he did, I know most of that stuff was done and he was in pain. You know what I'm
yep,
saying? But like, it was important to him to make sure that got put
mm,
out and to make sure that legacy was left. And that's just I think that's just the kind of mindset we have to have. Like for the FYI thing is all about
yeah,
mindset. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we have the brand management and all this stuff, these different things under the umbrella, but the whole ethos of it is
for
about
sure.
mindset. If the mindset ain't right, you know what I'm saying? And if we're not knowing why we're doing what we're doing, then it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's all in vain if we're not here to try and like influence the world, impact the world, leave a legacy for our kids, our friends, whatever, the people who want to be inspired and need inspiration.
Yeah,
So, you know, people like Virgil and Ye, they are crucial for the black community, in my opinion. um, and there's more out there, you know what I'm saying, in different realms. We're just talking about that because we're in design and we that's the kind of space we like to fill. Um, talking about design, you know, we do brand development and stuff over here, and branding is important. I always try to like drop some branding tips. I think you're like one of the like dopest at branding. Obviously, the Jamal Moore brand is a brand in itself. That's an
for sure.
entity.
Like,
And then you have, yeah, absolutely. And then you have Kairos. Talk to us about, that brand. Talk to us about the ethos and the beginning of that. What kind of sprung about that idea and how you feel about where it's at now.
Kairos is his own. Like, Kairos is his own thing, man. Kairos came about because I was trying to find something to name my company at that very moment. Like I was, getting my logistics together and one of my things to be together, and I'm like, oh, I gotta have a brand, and so at that very moment, my dad was doing some teaching on Kairos, and it just stuck to me as soon as I heard. I'm like,
And tell the people what Kairos means for those who don't know. Hey, we're here to educate, inform, inspire, interact. That's
yo,
the motto here.
all right, I'm gonna talk about the Kairos.
Just a little bit.
I'm
You
gonna,
ain't gotta,
I'm gonna go.
you ain't gotta
Yeah,
Bible study us to death, but like,
I'm gonna go crazy on it, but
yeah.
but my dad was talking about it at that very moment. He was teaching on it, and it just stuck to me, man. And I'm like, yo, I think that I'm gonna name my stuff Kairos. Like Do I want to just keep it Kairos or do I want to put worldwide next to it? Like, and so, I played with it. I talked with it. I wrote it down a bunch of times just because I wanted to see how it looked. That's just how I am. I wanted to write it down, and I
And
wasn't.
quick gem, writing shit down is important, yo. Like, I don't think people understand the power of writing something
Oh
down,
my
bro.
god,
I
bro!
man,
Oh my god! I wish I could. I wish I had my other book around here, but like my other book, like I literally write down. Like and that is my new book, but I write down everything. I write down like I'm gonna do this, I want to do this, or I had this problem today, or this blew me today, or this hurt my feelings. Like I literally write everything. It's not even just like a to do list. It's literally like everything.
it's like a
It's a
journal.
journal. It is a
Yeah,
to do list. It's a journal. It's my feelings. It's that like in the top the title of that one, well, the title of all of them is the power of words because words are powerful, bro. Like they're powerful when you speak them, and they're powerful when you write them down. And like when you do both of them, that's an agreement. I'm not gonna fall into that, but once you put both of them together, write it down. It says write it and make it plain. That's what the Bible said. When you get the Bible, it said write it and make it plain, and then it also says speak those things as they are. When you start aligning those things, once you put both of them
Woo!
together. But anyway, so Kairos is that's not even what Kairos is. Kairos is like a um I it's a few people that explain this in a perfect way. I don't explain it in a most perfect way, but Kairos is equivalent to like time, not like present time, but like infinity time. And I feel like that's like in that time where everything starts to agree. So I guess this does kind of like go to like Kairos when everything starts to agree, when everything you talked about, everything you've been dreaming about, everything that you've written down, everything that is around you, when those things start to come and lock in like a puzzle and start to agree, like I feel like that's when you're living in Kairos time. So um Kairos is that for me. It's that like it's everything in agreeing and everything working together for the good of not just myself but the people that are connected to Kairos. So we call it Kairos gang because like I want people to start putting that in their brain. Like like this is a movement. Like I'm saying. Like everything is okay in my life. Everything is working together for me. I'm saying. And like I'm gonna see the fruits of it. Or I'm seeing the fruits of it, and I'm gonna continue to see the fruits of it. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you can expound on it. Shout out yeah, so shout out to my dad for giving me the gems and like planting those seeds. And I don't explain it. I don't tap in. I'm not gonna say I don't explain it, but I do explain it right. But I don't tap into all of the key points that Kairos is because like it's a crazy thing. It's a rabbit hole. But for me, Kairos is that's my baby. That's my brand. That's my church. That's my whole vibe. And
But that's the thing. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like, you don't have to go down the rabbit hole. Even like I let people know all the time, branding is, the essence of what it is just making sure that the DNA and what you want related to be brought through the definition. So for me, even Virgil, like when with the off white thing, I used to love how he perfectly explained that, which was like, you know, life isn't black and white. It's gray, right? There's this space where people feel like one or two things can't be true at the same time, or like, I can't make streetwear high fashion, you know what I'm saying, or all these kind of things. So like, here's this brand off white where I merge whatever the hell I want to merge together, how I feel, how I interpret fashion, how I see the world, and there's this gray area, this off white area, and that's where this all lives. So for me, Cairo, that makes sense to me, you know what I'm saying? Forever, you know what I'm saying? Everything aligning, and, literally things are aligning because, how long have you had the brand now?
it's 2020. It's going on 21. I've had it for like officially. I've had it for like 4 years.
Years. And like now, the scaling and the reach of the brand is getting crazy.
Well, yeah, they're like 4 to 5 years. Yeah, it's taking on its own legs, which is kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted it to have its own legs, man. A lot of people do this whole thing like, yo, you don't post it on your main page, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I don't post on my main page, and I'm trying to do better with that, but at the same time, my intention is for it to like live without it being posted.
Without Jamal Moore's influence.
I
Yeah.
don't necessarily, and I appreciate people connecting it to my name and like rocking with it because rocking with before we even get to the close, but just rocking with Kairos worldwide, like the movement, because of my name. But I really wanted to like live on forever without me being attached to it. Like I don't mind it, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't mind my name living on forever or like the things that I do. But I want this branch to live on forever because I feel like it's strong enough. The foundation is strong enough, and the intentions are so pure that it could penetrate the world for as long as God will allow it to. Honestly,
That's real.
yeah.
That's real, man. Yo, thanks for stopping by and checking out part 1 of Jamal Moore's interview on the Fly Young Intellectual podcast. Come back next week and check out part 2 as we dive into some of our favorite designers. I asked him some rapid fire questions, some questions he wasn't even ready for, and even some historical stories between him and I that will be sure to entertain you. So, yo, next week, same time, same place. Inform, inspire, interact is what we're about. I'm your host, Kem. Until then, peace.